Flight Plan came out last week. And I said to Bernsey, I wonder how these other teams are going to view this, because like their GMs being mentioned and their teams are being mentioned. Two stories I saw today. The Cardinals draft video shows the Lions would not be outdone to get Terry and Arnold. The Lions traded up to get Arnold, and another team's behind-the-scenes video further shows they were not going to be outdone to get him. And it says at the 5-minute mark of the above clip, the Cards general manager, Monti Ossenfort, is shown on the phone. We'll give you 27 and 104. We take 24 and 174. Okay, call me back. Obviously, it depends on if our guy's there. Cowboys had the 24th pick, so obviously that's who they were talking to. But Dallas got a much better deal from the Lions than the one Monty was offering. And they gave up picks 29 and 73 for number 24 and a 7th rounder. So they got a much better offer to go. Dallas did from Detroit, which moved up to get Terrion Arnold. Okay. The biggest thing about the video was the big guy. The big guy. Here's a story out of Green Bay. Cardinals were interested in trading up for Jordan Morgan. It says it sure seems like the Cardinals were trying to jump one spot ahead of Green Bay for the Arizona offensive lineman. It makes sense that the Cardinals would be eyeing the 6'5", 311-pound offensive lineman as they addressed the position in the early 3rd round when they drafted Illinois guard Isaiah Adams. Meanwhile, the Packers never added an interior defensive lineman, but it goes on to say that they go back to the video. It doesn't make much sense that the big guy that Ossenfort is hinting at in this context is Robinson rather than Morgan. Now, Darius Robinson's a pretty big guy. We could all assume that the big guy is Darius Robinson. But what if the big guy was really Jordan Morgan? Then that was the guy, and that was the guy the Cardinals were. Their point is the Cardinals, in their next, after Robinson, they did take an offensive lineman with their next pick. But this story's kind of saying the guy was an Arizona player, and he's pretty big, and that maybe the big guy was really the 6'5", 311-pound offensive lineman out of Arizona, and not Darius Robinson. I don't know. I think the big guy could be Darius Robinson very well. They didn't allude to anything else in Flight Plan outside of the big guy. But remember I brought this up to Burns and Liz. I'm fascinated to know what other teams are thinking about this. And now you're seeing stories coming out of these areas, people that cover the team in Detroit and Green Bay and Dallas, and, we saw the Cardinals Flight Plan, and here's how we decipher it. This is what we think the guy was talking about at that time. Fascinating stuff. It truly is, because you're letting on about conversations you're having with other teams, and that leads to, we know it was Dallas because of the pick that they mentioned. We know it was the Atlanta GM because it's the only guy with that name. But in Green Bay, they took it a step further by speculating that the big guy was not Darius Robinson, it was Jordan Morgan.
This creates kind of a fun perception when it comes to how a lot of teams view, particularly not just the Cardinals, but Monti Ossenfort. I don't remember much about the, what's the word I want to use? The bravado, I guess, when it came to Steve Keim when watching these flight plan videos that we've had for the past few years. Whereas Monty, remember last year, everybody's like, oh man, look at him cook. Look at the way he's working on the phones. Look at the way he's operating. He's so calm. And then this time around, based on these stories that you brought today, I almost wonder if he's getting into other teams' heads in the way he's operating by just putting a little breadcrumb out there. Like, hey, we're interested in moving up. We're looking for somebody. But no, now the Lions have a much better offer as a result. And then here's Green Bay, or one perception of Green Bay, thinking that, they wanted this guy the whole time. Thank goodness we got him. When in reality, Monty got his guy that he wanted all along, and he didn't have to sacrifice anything in order to get him.
Yeah, Darius Robinson's 6'6", 250.
I think big guy is like a loose term. I understand why they would assume it was related to Morgan, but I consider Darius Robinson a big guy.
He's
but
6'6",
that's also coming
250.
And I'm 5'7", so everybody to me is a big guy, right? I don't assume that everybody is a small guy. I assume everybody's a big guy.
No, I met Darius Robinson out at Cardinals training camp while I was out with Wolf and Luke a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
Can confirm he is a big guy.
He's 6'6", 250.
That's massive for an edge rusher.
Morgan's 6'5", 311. So, like, they're both gigantic. They're both big guys.
Yes.
But it's interesting that the Green Bay side of it was they wanted this guy and they didn't get him. That's the guy that they wanted, and they didn't get him because Green Bay obviously picked him. And the Detroit part of it is the Arnold thing. Like, hey, look how we were able to get Arnold by moving up and being aggressive with the Cowboys. Interesting. Fascinating stuff.
Thanks for watching Burns and Gambo. Click to see more from the guys and hit the button in the middle to subscribe so you never miss a video from Arizona sports.